one of the charter members involved in the creation of this church, helping to take it from a fervent wish to a exciting reality way back starting in 1982. We got going on creating this church, and I've been so proud and happy to be a part of the whole process and be with this gang of wonderful people for all this time. We're going to begin our service this morning with our opening song, Whoever You Are. You can find the lyrics on your handout or in the chat box in Zoom. And we're going to sing it through twice. The second time is intended to be with harmony. So I want to hear those harmonies, folks. So, whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. All right, let's see here. I'm presenting the service today, and I already told you my name is Lynn Israel. And presenting it with Andy Shockett, and Megan Rancier also has a bit part in the service this morning. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to our Zoom attendees for tuning in today. It's wonderful to see everybody who could be here today in person. And we are so glad that we can keep in touch and support our community virtually for those who aren't able to join us. Please be aware we are recording this service. Is that correct? Yep. Oh, okay. Yay. Except for the joys and concerns. Okay. And it will be posted on our Facebook and YouTube pages, except during joys and concerns, which we just said, when we pause the recording for privacy so it doesn't get broadcast to the world. We gather today to foster our understanding of our place in the universe, embracing the worth and dignity of all, supporting justice, equity, and peace in our world, accepting one another as we search for meaning and respecting the connectedness of all life. Please take a moment to think of all your friends at MVUUC, greet them here or in person, or with a comment in the chat box. And remember that you can still reach out to them via email, phone, social media, video chat, etc. Physical distancing does not need to mean emotional distancing. Let us support one another as we have done for so long. Hello. Wonderful, wonderful. Visitors, as we are a diverse group with varying interests and beliefs, our services are varied in format, especially with the pandemic. Format, tone, and topic all vary. We encourage you to attend or view several services to gain a good understanding of our congregation. We also have blue information cards that I believe you will find in the little seat back pockets and in the offertory baskets. If this is your first visit or even your second visit to MVUUC, fill out one of those blue cards if you haven't already done it, and leave it up on this table here or in the collection basket, and we'll add your information to our email list. If you'd like to receive our weekly email newsletter, that blue card is your way to do it. MVUUC remains committed to supporting our members and friends as we continue to work through this time of social distancing. For that reason, we are coordinating assistance with groceries, phone calls, and other needs. If this sounds like something that would be helpful to you, please send an email to sac@mvuuc.org with your name and what kind of assistance you'd like to request. And now is the time for announcements. Are there any announcements today? Lisa, you want to come up and use the microphone?
Good morning. My announcement is, of course, the blood drive, which is happening October 2nd, which is a Saturday, from 9 to 2:30. And I need donors. So if you'd like to donate or you would like to tell your family, friends, that would be great. And if you have social media, put it on your social media. We have an event listed on the MVUUC page, and you're welcome to share that. And I hope to see you all there.
Is it a Saturday?
Yep.
And that's like 2 weeks from now, right?
Yep.
2 weeks from now. Wow. Okay.
I don't think we did.
Okay.
Never mind.
Any other announcements? Megan?
Hi, everyone. Just really quickly, we have a social action committee meeting the last Wednesday of this month. That is Wednesday, September 29th. That is via Zoom. So Wednesday, the 29th at 7 p.m. We're also still doing our anti-racism reading group. We're getting close to finishing our current book. So you want to talk about race by Ijeoma Oluo. And we're going to be looking for the next book in this series. So if you have suggestions, and of course, if you want to join us at any point in our discussions, just send me an email at sac@mvuuc.org. Thank you. Question?
Yes,
No.
Lisa.
Oh, okay.
I have another announcement that I forgot.
Okay.
I did want to let everyone know that we're having a Sunday Services Committee meeting on September 27th at 6:30 via Zoom. And we're looking for members. It's a really important part of MVUUC, especially because we are lay-led. And lay-led means the congregation has to help lead. And we've all done a great job, those of us who have been doing it, but we're tired and we'd like some help. So please consider helping us out. And we need people to do the service leader part, which is the part that Lynn is doing.
And it's really easy to do this part. I basically read from a script.
Exactly. You wouldn't be doing the part that Andy's doing, which is coming up with the service, which we have other people that do. What that John did. Sorry, John, you're right. Thank you, Andy. John is awesome and we love him, FYI. But doing this part is really easy and we could really use the help. And you don't have to have been here a long time to do it. So let me know, lisa.merrillprice@mvuuc.org if you would like to help out. It is a Monday.
Any other? You have a,
I was just gonna say, if you want to do a service, you can.
Yeah.
if you want to do a service, you can.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are there any other announcements that we've received via email or chat box or anything? Nope. Okay. All right. Let's see here. The chalice today is going to be lit by Giovanni. Yeah, we may have trouble keeping this candle alight for you to.
No, it's got a cover on it.
Oh, but I mean this one.
Oh, no, just use the lighter.
Oh, okay.
That's convenient.
Yeah, hopefully you won't burn yourself.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fire and water.
Oh, okay.
Sweet, first try.
All right. Thank you. Fire and water, ancient opposites, sun and ocean, the cradle of life, dancing flame and dancing river. We invoke them together today as we kindle our chalice flame. All right. Now we have a song that we're going to do a cappella. It's called Here We Have Gathered, and it's hymn number 360 in your hymnal. And let's see if I can find a note to get this started on. Okay. I'll get started and then just join in whenever you're ready. Here we have gathered side by side, circle of kinship, come and step inside. May all who seek here find a kindly word. May all who speak here feel they have been heard. Sing now together Here we have gathered, called to celebrate days of a lifetime, matters small and great. We of all ages, women, children, men, infants and sages, sharing what we can, sing now together this our heart's own song. Life has its battles, sorrows, and regret, but in the shadows, let us not forget. We who now gather know each other's pain. Kindness can heal us. As we give, we gain. Sing now in friendship this our heart's own song. I now have some opening words. Watershed by Martina Thompson. She says, this morning, actually last week for most, UU congregations large and small across the country and around the world are celebrating ingathering, the beginning of the new church year. We hurriedly stop in our usual scramble to get out the door to fill a small bottle or jar with water from our tap, water that might symbolically represent the water we forgot to gather on our summer travels or non-travels. Given the pandemic, I'd be surprised if any actual water from lakes or streams makes it into the water communion today. Watershed moments are turning points. Those moments often recognized in retrospect. Moments that permanently alter an understanding. This morning, we come together to share insights gained on any travels, or perhaps to reflect on the everyday holiness of the water that flows in abundance from our garden hose. Please join me in a moment of silent reflection as we enter into our sacred time together.
The winds of change visit us all. Each year, as we gather in the fall, it is our custom to offer water as a symbol of our connection to one another. This morning, we will have 4 periods of sharing. Whatever water we've brought or water collected here, or you may have water at home as you're watching in Zoom land that you could also pour. And later we'll be taking this water and pouring it into our garden here at MVUUC. And we encourage you to do the same at home to symbolize the circle of life and renewal. We want to share with one another not only where our water comes from, but more importantly, to share what it means to us, what it symbolizes in our own lives. So these 4 times, and you may share, bring up water or pour water at any one of these times or multiple of these times. First, we will have a chance to share water that reminds us that while some have abundance, others struggle in scarcity. Second, we will share water that symbolizes travel, movement, and change. Third, we will share water that reminds us of life's storms, our concerns, worries, frustrations, and losses. Finally, we'll share water that reminds us of the well springs of our lives. Please, again, feel free to share water at any time during any of those 4 times. The great thing about symbols is that they're open to many interpretations. So part 1, drought. This container of empty water reminds us of all who lack access to safe and affordable water. I dedicate this first water to begin our water communion with the symbol of solidarity with UUs and all those around the world who are calling for the human right to water. I also pour out water for all those farmers who lost crops and livestock this summer because of the drought, some of the worst they have ever had in many areas of the world, including in the United States. If you would like to share water representing an awareness of scarcity in our community or our lives, please come forward and bring your water, or feel free to use this pitcher and pour a little into our common pitcher. If you'd like to say a word or two about the significance of this water, please do so into the microphone. And again, you may use this pitcher. So I'll start out with a little bit about the droughts of Lake Mead and Lake Powell, which are so scary in our Southwest.
Unless it's forbidden, I may come up for multiple ones of these. Water is the essential molecule of life, right? So almost all of my research as a scientist is devoted to the study of water. So I wanted to come up here and talk a little bit about scarcity in terms of animals, because that's what I research. And so one of the things I spent a lot of time this summer doing was looking at dehydration of bees. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in for that.
I'm gonna put a little bit of water into the container for the role that drought and climate change plays in a lot of conflicts in the world. A lot of times we don't realize what the actual source of these conflicts are. We just see the actual conflict. But for example, the Syrian civil war that started in 2011 and kind of is still unresolved, that started as a conflict over water. And millions of people either died or were displaced because of that conflict. And climate change isn't going away. So climate-based and drought-based conflicts are going to be in our future.
Gosh. Hi. I'm gonna stand on my toes.
You can lower it. You want to in the middle of the thing. Down here.
Okay, thank you. So I don't know how to phrase this. So it's a kind of drought, but I've been really bothered by the idea that some of the election laws and proposals are like, don't provide people who are standing in line with water. We want to have a neighborly world, but we don't want to provide people who are thirsty with water. So that's to me, thirsty people standing in line trying to vote is a kind of drought.
One way to talk about scarcity is to talk about the opposite. When there's an abundance of something and it's taken for granted. And this is water from the upper Great Lakes via the water cycle. Not directly from it, but I'm sure that there are some molecules in it that came from the upper Great Lakes. And in the Straits of Mackinac, there's a pipeline that goes underneath the straits for oil. It's 60 years old. It's been damaged, never been a spill, but it's very controversial out there. And it has brought together diverse groups of people that normally don't talk to each other, because everybody values their Great Lakes, the crystal clear water. And one thing it hasn't done, though, is convinced people to change their behaviors to require less oil being pumped. And I think that should be the next logical step for people that are opposed to oil in the lakes. So to not taking for granted things that are just so wonderful.
I'm John, if there's anyone new. I just wanted to share water quickly for the oldest sequoias out west are currently under threat due to fire and drought. They've literally, I think, wrapped the oldest known sequoia in like wet cloth, hoping that it won't burn down. So for that drought, and also for the lack of clean water in a lot of areas still in our own country, supposedly like the richest or one of the richest on the planet, they're doing more testing, just like in Flint. Now some of the other cities in Michigan, I think is it Benton Harbor? Yeah. Looks like it may be equally bad or getting close, and they're petitioning for help and not getting it yet. So for all of us who get clean water every day, just a reminder of those who don't.
And just to piggyback on what John just said, this water is for the water in Newark, New Jersey is equally poisoned, undrinkable. It's a city where my parents lived and where all the members of my immediate family, including me, worked at one point or another. And also for all the other forms of drought. About our part 2 is the waters that carry us. So I invite you to share water that reminds you of the changes and transformations in our lives, our journeys, whether spiritual or physical. I'll start out by thinking of 2 journeys, transformations. These happen to be more personal, of our daughters, one of whom began college for the first time, and the other is blossoming in high school. And so this is for them.
There's a lake that has been a part of my life ever since I was a baby. In diapers, I was crawling on the beach of this lake. I waded there as a toddler and as a child, and I swim in it to this day. It's Hamlin Lake up in Ludington, Michigan. This is the same lake that my mother looked at out her living room window as she was dying a year ago, and is the same lake that my father now looks at out of the window as he succumbs farther and farther into Alzheimer's. It's an incredibly special lake to me, and my mother's spirit, I think, is hovering over it as we speak.
Other way. So this is the one that I brought the water for, which is actually from the church, because I did forget. But this represents Lake Erie. Yesterday, my dad and I went on a journey to the past, and he told me about a beach that he used to go to in the family, like Model A or whatever it was. And he remembered it was near Oak Harbor somewhere. And so I picked him up and we drove to Oak Harbor, and it wasn't there. And he remembered suddenly the name was East Harbor. And so we figured out from my phone that East Harbor is up on Lake Erie near Marblehead. And we found the beach, and we, stood there, and he told his stories of his siblings, and he's swimming in Lake Erie and how wonderful that was, except that it smelled like fish. And he didn't like the smell of the water, but he liked swimming in the lake. And that was a wonderful memory for him to relive yesterday.
This is travel water, but I almost considered bringing it up for the first portion too. I think a lot of times the ways that water communions used to be done could highlight inequalities in abundance locally, even within congregations when it was only travel stories. So I really like this format, and I really love the opening words and that they were current too this year. I had the opportunity this summer to go to the Galapagos Islands, and it was kind of a spiritual pilgrimage for me as someone who my whole understanding of how we're here and why we're here is really informed by science that was sparked by some observations that took place there. And it was just very cool for me to stand where Darwin stepped and to have that chance. And so I don't take it for granted at all, that chance to travel, and knowing that abundance is, the water might have to stay in here. I don't know. It's, I really, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, and it's definitely water that carried me, because I was in the water every chance that I had while I was there. This one. Okay.
Did you go snorkeling with the seals?
All the time, yeah. A couple times a day sometimes. Yeah, I was there for a few weeks, and yeah, I'd love to share more with anyone, but yes, grateful for that opportunity and the abundance that I have.
This is the water I brought, John and I brought. You can, if you want to be up here too. I figured I'd talk about this, but John's welcome to contribute. But because he put the water in the jar this morning.
It was hard work.
It's from our tap. So it actually, my thought with this water is kind of opposite of what Colleen was talking about, because even though this is just water from our tap, it's actually really significant in terms of like all the transitions that we went through over the past year and a half during the pandemic, especially where we were in our house together, navigating that, both working from home, being very fortunate to be able to work from home, but navigating all of the, you know, small things that change, that once you change one thing, lots of other things change. And so, you know, like trying to find space in a house for us both to have our office and like not getting each other's way, which like we failed miserably at, you know, for a while. And all these like, and then to say nothing of John's professional transitions. He left his longtime job, started working for the church, started grad school, ended grad school, and is now starting a new job at the Wood County Hospital. So, and I'm really happy for him that he's going through these productive transitions, finding something that he wants to do. Sorry, I don't mean to speak for you, but and of course, the other transition that's in the background of both of our lives is the fact that John's parents have moved to Bowling Green, and we're helping them. Mainly, John is helping them with their care. So that's another thing that we've been navigating, and like all of those transitions and navigations have been centered in our home.
And in 1 year.
And then 1 year. So this is definitely water, even though it's water from our tap, it is definitely water of transition for us.
For the last 24 hours, I've tried not to drink out of this bottle because it has the Maumee River in it, which is a very special place to my wife and I. We've always liked traveling near water, mostly in Ohio. And we've taken a real liking to the Maumee River. Not only is it because of the movement of the water, the peacefulness that it offers, but also the history that is all along that river. And for that reason, well, yesterday, she said, we're going to get water from the Maumee River. I said, well, how's that going to happen? She said, we're going to take this bottle, we're going to put a string on it and throw it in. Of course, it floats. So I got a stick along the river, stuck it in, stick in there so it would get in there. So teamwork. And so it's just a fun place that we go to. And we love the Maumee River.
I wasn't sure when to come up here because Andy gives us lots of opportunities. So I'll just do it all at once here. But this is some symbolic water. In this pandemic time, we did travel some this summer. Wendy and I took 3 trips. It was out. I did a bicycle trip across northern Arizona, and I appreciated water then because there was not much water around, biking through the Mojave Desert and so forth. But I survived. And later on, Wendy came out and we did a hike up in Sedona. It was nice. And then we got to visit our daughter Lauren over in Maine. And we had not seen her in a year and a half, so we were right near the Atlantic Ocean there in Acadia National Park. That was great. And then we finished up by going to see our other daughter, Caitlin, in Montana. We were out there for 3 days. And if you ever get a chance, go to Glacier National Park. I've been there a couple of times, and Wendy never been there before, and my daughter, Caitlin's boyfriend, had never been there. So we got 3 days of hiking there. It was really great. But with our environmental changes, with the lack of water and climate change, glaciers are very quickly disappearing in Glacier National Park. So there's some left there, but not like there used to be. And so this is for that. And I will finally put a little bit of water in for how water will influence you once you've gone. Good thing Winnie's not here because she's heard this story a number of times here. But anyway, she's preparing for a 10-year colonoscopy today. That's why she decided not to come. But anyway, I always say that when I've made arrangements when I pass away to be cremated, and I said, you can have half the ashes went in. The other half I want to put on our family farm, the hill behind our house, up overlooking our family farm. But I was thinking about this. There's a little stream at the top of the hill. It flows down to a little bigger stream. That stream flows further down to a bigger stream. That flows into our river in our hometown, McConnellsville. And that's the Muskingum River. We know the Muskingum River flows into the Ohio River, and the Ohio River flows into the Mississippi. So I am going to end up in New Orleans someday.
The third part of our water communion is the water of storms. Now it is time to share water symbolizing the storms in our lives, the concerns and sorrows, confusions and frustrations. Allow this vessel to be one of receiving and healing as it absorbs your storm. Again, you're welcome to say a word or two about the significance of this water, or pour in water without saying anything at all. I'll begin by thinking about my mother, who always delighted in swimming, in being near water and looking on the water, and who, as she was dying this year, was listening to the songs that she sang as a teenager at a camp by a lake, and thinking about how she was also comforted by just the little bit of water on her lips to keep them moist as she was dying.
I guess I'll just stay on my tiptoes too. Oh, there we go. Okay, got it. This water is for all those who have suffered during this pandemic. I have a friend who lost her 97-year-old father. She got it. Her siblings all had it. She struggled for at least 9 to 10 months with long COVID and hair loss. Her brother was on oxygen and thought he wouldn't make it, and luckily he survived. But it's been a struggle for the family, and these are for all the families that have had horrible tragedies.
And these are for other sorrows and sadnesses that we keep in our hearts. Part four is the waters that sustain us. As we conclude our water communion, I invite you to bring water that reminds you of the well springs of life, the water that sustains you when you are feeling empty, the joys that give you hope and buoy you up. And we'll hear from some voices that I know give us all joy and remind us of the wellspring of life.
All right, so we asked to be part of the water communion. And in RE today, we read the book Stone Soup. So I don't know if you guys have ever read that. It's a classic children's story about a little village where these travelers go into town and they're really hungry and they go to door asking if anybody can spare food. And every house says, no, we don't have enough food. We can't help you. And then the travelers say, well, we're going to make this magical soup called Stone Soup. And they ask, is there anybody who can let us at least borrow a pot? And so they get somebody to let them borrow a pot. They boil some water and they say, all right, we're going to throw this ordinary stone into this soup. But you know what would make this soup taste a little bit better? Maybe just one carrot. Is there anybody who can spare a carrot? And so there's a little girl and says, what? I have one little carrot. And so she throws the carrot in. And then slowly each person in town says, well, I have a little bean. Well, I have a little kernel of corn. And so in the end, they have this beautiful stone soup full of all these wonderful ingredients, all because of all of them sharing. And so they think it's a magical soup that these travelers had made, but it was really obviously the sharing of all the little towns. So I thought this kind of went perfect with the concept of the water communion. So I read the story and then I had the kids draw something that brought them joy, something that they make them feel happy that they could contribute to a stone soup, or in this case, the water communion. So I drew family. So yes, this is my adult drawing here.
And I added some stuff to
Desmond, yes, Malcolm added to make it more beautiful. And then Malcolm, do you want to share what you made?
I made this one.
What is it?
Pizza.
Pizza. You said pizza brings him joy, and he did all those letters by himself. So I was very impressed.
And then I made these all little things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Desmond, do you want to share what you made?
I made a chocolate banana crepe.
That is his favorite food, is chocolate banana crepes. So yeah. You want to share?
I accidentally forgot that it was only supposed to be one, so I put like a lot. I put turtles, family, Chinese learning, horse riding, playing games with my friends.
Yeah, didn't need to be one thing. That's perfect. We want the soup to be extra tasty, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And I got water.
Oh yeah, you want to put the water?
home,
Perfect.
but it's kind of like just, I don't know. I forgot to get water. I regret not getting water at the top of Mount Washington, like from the tap or anything, but yeah.
We can pretend. Yeah. Very nice. All right. If you kids want to leave, we could put her up here so that others can see it, or you can take it back. She well, Mimi doesn't want to share, so it's okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
I said I was going to come up more than once. I am. I'm going to say, let's see, two things. First, it is water communion, and it's about water sustaining us. So I'll point out that most of us shared the same water this morning in the form of a bean that we consume from the garden. And there's lots of water in beans. So, you know, we shared that water together, which I thought was nice. And then I'll just say that it's appropriate that this water is from the church, because one of my best memories from this summer is the Hogwarts camp at the church. So I'll add in a little bit for that.
All right, so this is from Olander out in Sylvania, where my daughter and I spent a lot of time this summer, either just swimming or maybe occasionally on the boats, but just, you know, that's what it's for.
Hello. Hello. How's everybody doing?
Okay, quick lesson for everybody. You twist the middle and then it goes up and down.
I was just gonna bend down. It was gonna be easier that way for me. So this is water from our pool, because back when the pandemic started, like I never saw myself as a pool guy. I never wanted a pool, but you know, Sandra went and said, hey, we're gonna be stuck at home for a long time with nowhere to go. So she went out and bought this above ground pool. And so it was actually in a lot of ways, it's been the center, not the center of our entire world. Cause like through the winter, it's like not, it's just sort of an eyesore out back. But, through when it's warm and everything, you're, either cleaning it or, kids are playing in it or whatever. And so in that way, it's sort of become the center of the, of the family, of the, of our routines and such, and so it's been, nice and such. So, and yeah, I mean, even going back to because it was Mike and Ethan who helped me put it together, right? Actually, I helped them put it together. And then since then, it's really just sort of been a source of sanity, I guess, right? I mean, because you get to clean the pool. Like I said, there's something comforting in that, and there's something like, it's a daily routine that you get when you are stuck at home and such. So I brought a lot of water from it. So there you go.
So are you a pool guy now?
I don't know, but I enjoy it. So, so yeah.
Well, that was wonderful. I loved hearing everything. It's hard to avoid the obvious principles connection here in what we've done today, the interconnectedness of all things. However, our recently adopted eighth principle leaps to mind in many ways when you talk of water, and demands that we recognize this issue in a way that will not only remind us of the interconnectedness of all things, but of the ways our systems do not always connect us equally to the elements. It is in that light that instead of a longer principles connection, I will be reading this poem by the Reverend Joel Bowman Sr., founder and senior pastor temporal of Faith Baptist Church in Louisville. It's a poem about environmental injustice. Flint matters. Flint is not like a piece of lint to be brushed off our clothing. It's a city where real people are horribly suffering. Just an hour away from Detroit, which is my hometown, when I think about Flint's water, my face begins to frown. How long has the water been polluted with lead? How many people will get sick or end up dead? It's no accident that this has happened in Flint. Powerful people decided how the money was spent. Dr. King would say environmental injustice anywhere is a threat to environmental justice everywhere. I say environmental racism is another form of brutality in mostly Black areas where there's pain and poverty. To some extent, this happens in every poor urban setting. If it hasn't happened where you live, consider that a blessing. The following truth must be understood. There's no contaminated water in rich neighborhoods. No children whose development has been stunted because some leader's responsibility was punted. Some see this as a political football, not a national evil that should be confronted by all. Some leaders are selling us out so they can obtain status or clout. Please be reminded of what happened in Michigan next time you get some water from your own kitchen. The following truth must be understood. There's no contaminated water in rich neighborhoods. Lord, show us how to help the folks in Flint through a visit or some water that needs to be sent. Flint matters. Flint is not like a piece of lint to be brushed off our clothing. It is a city where real people are horribly suffering. Now, more than ever, we're counting on your pledge payments and donations to help sustain and strengthen this congregation that is so important to all of us. Supporting our efforts to be a community of love, truth, justice, and service. Please click on the link in the chat box or scan the QR code and be sure to select the correct designation on the drop-down box when you donate. Thank you. Do we have some music or anything during the?
No, we're just gonna do in a moment of silence.
Now is the time for sharing of joys and concerns and milestones, which I feel like we've pretty much done. But we are going to stop the recording at this time in case there's something that you won't broadcast this. So if there is anyone who would like to share.
Okay. All right. So I've been doing sing along with you for a few weeks now. We're going to do another one. And this is a simple song from Sesame Street that John found, and it's pretty easy. We're gonna do this as a sing along. So this is kind of an experiment, but you all are just going to sing a very simple, you're just gonna sing the word water over and over again using this melody. Okay, listen first and then we'll try it together. Actually, let's try this pitch first. Great. So it's going to sound like this. Water, 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 water. Great. So you're just going to keep singing that as I sing some other lines. All right. And then when I do this, you're going to stop and I'm going to sing something else. And then when I do this, you'll start again. Okay, and we're gonna do that twice. Okay, so let's get you started. So again, we start on here we go. And water, 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 over here and over there. Water everywhere. Water in the pool, keeping us cool. Up in the clouds and down it goes. It's pumped to our home where the water flows. Water cleans you up, sitting in a tub. Water cleans the floor when you scrub, scrub, scrub. Water, 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 water. Home to the fish. Splash and splish. Puts fire out. Help seeds sprout. Sailing on the water, cruising on the boat. Let the water move you as we float, float, float. Water helps the plants and animals grow. And when water gets cold, we get ice and snow. With no water, we'd be thirsty and hot. So let's be thankful for the water we've got. Water, 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 water. Water is a gift. So don't waste it. Turn it off when you're done. We'll have enough for everyone. Water, 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 water. Awesome.
This is All Waters Run to the Sea by Cale Rice. It starts with a drop, then a trickle, a burble, a rush of water bubbling toward its destination, and finally the wide, endless sea. All rivers run to the sea. Today, you brought water, poured it into a common bowl. Though our experiences have differed, these waters mingle, signifying our common humanity. Today you came and shared in this sacred community. May you depart this sacred space, hearts filled with hope for new beginnings, a fresh start. Go forth, but return to this community, where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your joy bubbles, where your life cup overflows, where deep in your spirit you have found in this place a home. All rivers run to the sea.
Although our chalice has extinguished itself, please join me in reading the words for extinguishing it that can be found in your order of service or in the Zoom chat box. Today, water is our element. The flame is extinguished and our spirit quenched. After the closing song, we invite everyone in person to stay for the coffee hour. For our friends attending via Zoom, we welcome you to stay and chat with your fellow MBUUC members and friends for virtual coffee hour. Your mics and camera will be turned on once the service ends. And so now we're going to do our closing song, Go With a Song in Your Heart. You can find the words in your hymnal or inside the front cover of your hymnal or as a comment in the Zoom chat box. That's going to be our starting note. Go with a song in your heart. Go with music in your soul. Leave with a memory of a melody. Go with a song in your heart. Go with a song in your heart. Now, until we meet again, the joy of music is our gift to you. Go with a song in your heart. Leave with a memory of a melody. Go with a song, go with a song, go with a song in your heart. Now is the time for sharing of joys and concerns and milestones, which I feel like we've pretty much done. But we are going to stop the recording at this time in case there's something that you won't broadcast this. So if there is anyone who would like to share.
Okay. All right. So I've been doing sing along with you for a few weeks now. We're going to do another one. And this is a simple song from Sesame Street that John found, and it's pretty easy. We're gonna do this as a sing along. So this is kind of an experiment, but you all are just going to sing a very simple. You're just going to sing the word water over and over again using this melody. Okay, listen first and then we'll try it together. Actually, let's try this pitch first. Great. So it's going to sound like this. Water, 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 water. Great. So you're just going to keep singing that as I sing some other lines. All right. And then when I do this, you're going to stop and I'm going to sing something else. And then when I do this, you'll start again. Okay. And we're going to do that twice. Okay. So let's get you started. So again, we start on, here we go. And water, 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 over here and over there, water everywhere, water in the pool, keeping us cool. Up in the clouds and down it goes, it's pumped to our home where the water flows. Water cleans you up, sitting in a tub. Water cleans the floor when you scrub, scrub, scrub. Water, 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 water. Home to the fish. Splash and splish. Puts fire out. Help seeds sprout. Sailing on the water, cruising on the boat. Let the water move you as we float, float, float. Water helps the plants and animals grow. And when water gets cold, we get ice and snow. With no water, we'd be thirsty and hot. So let's be thankful for the water we've got. Water, 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 water. Water is a gift. So don't waste it. Turn it off when you're done. We'll have enough for everyone. Water, 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 water. Awesome.
This is All Waters Run to the Sea by Cale Rice. It starts with a drop, then a trickle, a burble, a rush of water bubbling toward its destination, and finally the wide, endless sea. All rivers run to the sea. Today, you brought water, poured it into a common bowl. Though our experiences have differed, these waters mingle, signifying our common humanity. Today you came and shared in this sacred community. May you depart this sacred space, hearts filled with hope for new beginnings, a fresh start. Go forth, but return to this community, where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your joy bubbles, where your life cup overflows, where deep in your spirit you have found in this place a home. All rivers run to the sea.
Although our chalice has extinguished itself, please join me in reading the words for extinguishing it that can be found in your order of service or in the Zoom chat box. Today, water is our element. The flame is extinguished and our spirit quenched. After the closing song, we invite everyone in person to stay for the coffee hour. For our friends attending via Zoom, we welcome you to stay and chat with your fellow MBUUC members and friends for virtual coffee hour. Your mics and camera will be turned on once the service ends. And so now we're going to do our closing song, Go With a Song in Your Heart. You can find the words in your hymnal or inside the front cover of your hymnal or as a comment in the Zoom chat box. That's going to be our starting note. Go with a song in your heart. Go with music in your soul. Leave with a memory of a melody. Go with a song in your heart. Go with a song in your heart. Now, until we meet again, the joy of music is our gift to you. Go with a song in your heart. Leave with the memory of a melody. Go with a song, go with a song, go with a song in your heart. Now is the time for sharing of joys and concerns and milestones, which I feel like we've pretty much done. But we are going to stop the recording at this time in case there's something that you won't broadcast this. So if there is anyone who would like to share.
Okay. All right. So I've been doing sing along with you for a few weeks now. We're going to do another one. And this is a simple song from Sesame Street that John found, and it's pretty easy. We're gonna do this as a sing along. So this is kind of an experiment, but you all are just going to sing a very simple. You're just going to sing the word water over and over again using this melody. Okay, listen first, and then we'll try it together. Actually, let's try this pitch first. Great. So it's going to sound like this. Water, 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 water. Great. So you're just going to keep singing that as I sing some other lines. All right. And then when I do this, you're going to stop and I'm going to sing something else. And then when I do this, you'll start again. Okay, and we're going to do that twice. Okay, so let's get you started. So again, we start on here we go. And water, 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 over here and over there. Water everywhere. Water in the pool, keeping us cool. Up in the clouds and down it goes. It's pumped to our home where the water flows. Water cleans you up, sitting in a tub. Water cleans the floor when you scrub, scrub, scrub. Water, 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 water. Home to the fish. Splash and splish. Puts fire out. Help seeds sprout. Sailing on the water, cruising on the boat. Let the water move you as we float, float, float. Water helps the plants and animals grow. And when water gets cold, we get ice and snow. With no water, we'd be thirsty and hot. So let's be thankful for the water we've got. Water, 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 water. Water is a gift, so don't waste it. Turn it off when you're done. We'll have enough for everyone. Water, 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 water. Awesome.
This is All Waters Run to the Sea by Cale Rice. It starts with a drop, then a trickle, a burble, a rush of water bubbling toward its destination, and finally the wide, endless sea. All rivers run to the sea. Today, you brought water, poured it into a common bowl. Though our experiences have differed, these waters mingle, signifying our common humanity. Today you came and shared in this sacred community. May you depart this sacred space, hearts filled with hope for new beginnings, a fresh start. Go forth, but return to this community, where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your joy bubbles, where your life cup overflows, where deep in your spirit you have found in this place a home. All rivers run to the sea.
Although our chalice has extinguished itself, please join me in reading the words for extinguishing it that can be found in your order of service or in the Zoom chat box. Today, water is our element. The flame is extinguished and our spirit quenched. After the closing song, we invite everyone in person to stay for the coffee hour. For our friends attending via Zoom, we welcome you to stay and chat with your fellow MBUUC members and friends for virtual coffee hour. Your mics and camera will be turned on once the service ends. And so now we're going to do our closing song, Go With a Song in Your Heart. You can find the words in your hymnal or inside the front cover of your hymnal or as a comment in the Zoom chat box. That's going to be our starting note. Go with a song in your heart. Go with music in your soul. Leave with a memory of a melody. Go with a song in your heart. Go with a song in your heart. Now, until we meet again, the joy of music is our gift to you. Go with a song in your heart. Leave with the memory of a melody. Go with a song. Go with a song. Go with a song